Do you have holiday heart? Joining us now, healthy living expert. I'm in trouble. A holistic approach to holiday merriment. Dr. Matt Chalmers joins us, Holiday Heart. Hey, Doc, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
I'm going to be good. Holiday Heart. Now, this isn't full-on heart attack, is it?
It can be. This is one of the big things that we're talking about is the correlation between heart attacks and the festiveness of big celebrations like Christmas.
Okay. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with Tom and Jerry's. It's a northern thing. It's basically 6 egg whites, pound and a half of powdered sugar, and then in that batter, as you mix it all up and get it frothy, you throw in a bunch of spices and add some liquor and hot milk. That'll put me in the hospital, I bet you, huh?
That sounds amazing. But, yeah, one of the big things that we're seeing is that the giant amounts of sugar and the alcohol and all the stress, and always don't forget the stress is one of the big components, is creating lots and lots of pressure on the heart. And so remember, the big thing to remember about alcohol when we talk about heart attacks is that alcohol greatly induces breathing problems for a lot of people. So if you snore more when you drink, snoring is a sign of obstructive sleep apnea, which is one of the most damaging breathing problems that we have for the heart and the brain.
Alcohol. Doesn't alcohol relax everything, though? Or maybe that's the problem.
Well, it can. So it does a couple different things. One, it relaxes the musculature of the throat and the jaw, so we have more obstructive function. But one of the reasons that alcohol poisoning can kill you is that it suppresses that little system in your brain that tells you to continue to breathe. So you just stop breathing and die.
How in the world did alcohol become part of medicine then? Because, I mean, you know, the old days you get cough medicine even had alcohol in it. How in the world did that happen?
Well, remember, alcohol is a great preservative. So if you're going to put other things in there and throw some alcohol in there, it keeps it fresher longer. Plus, it thins the blood. There is to moderate alcohol, small amounts of alcohol, there is some medical benefit to it.
Like a glass of wine. You always hear about how good that is for the blood, right? Red wine or something.
Yeah,
so,
go ahead.
No, well, I was just going to say, get your recommendations on what we should be doing to celebrate, because you can't just sit in a corner.
No. Well, it's like you said, it's one of those deals where be cognizant of alcohol. There's a lot of reasons to drink. Not all of them are great reasons. But, moderate that, and you're pretty good on that one. As the guy who did a TED Talk on cannabis, I would tell you that cannabis is a much safer option for relaxation, but that's not a big thing socially. So if we can monitor our sugar and we can monitor our alcohol intake, usually we're going to be pretty good.
A little Christmas pot, huh? Is that what you're saying? Come on, Doc.
It is medically safer than alcohol is.
All right. Christmas gummies, I guess. I don't know. So like a little Santa gummy or something. I don't know. But you can't not have. I mean, my mother's peanut brittle. I gotta have it. I can't not have that.
As long as we make this kind of a one-day thing and we try to take as much stress out of it as we can, you're going to be fine. Like, the problem we get into is that people have way too much alcohol and sugar and stress for days long, and then that's the problem. And remember the stress piece of this, there's giant amounts of stress on everybody to get the stuff done, be there, show up right, do all the things. That stress is probably one of the biggest issues we run into. So if we can deal with our stress, it'll help the rest of this stuff out considerably.
Isn't it funny how we've taken a holiday that should be really no stress, should be just happiness and goodness and calm and peace on earth, goodwill to men, and we turned it into this onslaught of stress and sugar and holiday heart. It's weird how we've done that, but, that's our fallen nature. What do you do then as the chief executive in charge of healthy living expert? I bet nobody likes coming to your house, do they, Doc? I mean, we're gonna have gummies and we're gonna have kale. Oh, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Oh, absolutely not kale. So we have lots of. We're doing turkey. We're doing brisket. We're doing a bunch of this stuff. We do a lot of the keto stuff. We make amazing keto cheesecakes and brownies and pecan pies and stuff like that. So the sugar's been replaced with allulose and stevia, and those type of things. So,
And
that's fantastic. It is delicious. So you can have everything, and still, if you can put it together right, you can take all the sugar and the alcohol out and leave all the flavor in.
yeah, knowing what you've told me now, I know I'm not eating one of your brownies. I know that. But what about honey as a sweetener? That seems to be like a good natural thing.
Honey is fantastic. If you can find, especially raw, natural honey, there's a lot of honeys that are not really honey. They're mixed with high fructose corn syrup. If you can find a raw, natural honey, it's fantastic. It's sweetened, and it doesn't raise your glycemic function, so it's great for diabetics and for people who are worried about insulin control and sugar.
I love it. All right. But I got to have me a Tom and Jerry. You should try it. Just, I should send you the recipe.
I would definitely try it. It sounds amazing.
Yeah, and you're not in a cold climate, but when it gets to be really cold outside, and we're going to have a warm Christmas in Michigan, but relatively, but when it's really cold outside, a hot Tom and Jerry, you put a shot of brandy and a shot of rum into that. Oh, buddy, now you're talking. You want one? I know amazing. You do. You want one right now.
I would love to try one. If I'm ever in Michigan, I will 100% try one.
Well, and I'll get you. I will text you I have a family recipe for mine, but let's talk about stress reduction, because you could go and eat all the healthy foods you want, but if you're under a lot of stress, why is stress so bad on your heart? What does that do to it?
It shifts you from what's called a parasympathetic, which is resting, digesting type of nervous system, to sympathetic, which is fight, flight. And when that happens, it changes the whole workup of the body, and that stress increases heart rate, decreases oxygen, and so it makes the heart have to work even harder to do what it's trying to do. So that's one of the reasons that stress is bad for us. The number one thing that people should do when they're under stress is, maybe for the first time, go talk to a therapist, because what ends up happening is that we all have little cracks in our psyche, and when pressure's applied, those cracks become more apparent. And so you can learn a lot more about yourself and how to kind of deal with your stress in a time like this than you can any other time of your life. So you can learn a lot about yourself to do that. But the other thing that calm all this down is to exercise. If we can figure out a way to exercise, on these days, it'll help tremendously.
Yeah. If you're fighting, take a walk. Get out of the house, take a walk. Walk it off. There is something to that, I think. Cracks in My Psyche. That's the title of my new album I'm going to put out in the new year. Mike Austin, Cracks in My Psyche. All right. Well, we're up on time. Are you hosting tonight and over the weekend, or are you going away? What are you doing? You're having gummies.
Yeah, of course. Whatever we're going to do to calm down, yeah, it'll be great.
Calm down. You walk into Doc's house, and he's got a kale wreath hanging on the door. Everyone has to take a bite out of it. And then he passes out the gummies and a glass of wine, and then they all sing songs. And Doc just says, calm down, everyone. Just chill. I like it.
Yeah. Just be relaxed.
Let's sing. Dr. Chalmers. Dr. Matt Chalmers. Where do we find you, by the way? We find you on the web. Tell everybody.
ChalmersWellness.com. And then I do a podcast every morning under Dr. Chalmers and the number 1.
Every morning you do a podcast?
Yep.
Oh, man. You're a glutton for punishment. All right, Doc, we appreciate it. Dr. Matt Chalmers, always a good guest on. Appreciate that. Hey, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, sir.
See ya.